Hello friends, welcome. You should be able to hear me. You should be able to see me. And I'm sure most of you are thinking, Dano, you're an hour late. Well, guess what? I'm not. Daylight savings ticked over in Queensland, so I'm right on time. I am right on time for my time zone. We finished this guy, the Dahaka. So I brought him over here because we've got to paint a little version of him. The Dahaka is a little adversary who chases you around the map, so we're going to do that later. This is the next adversary. His name is Titan X. Can't really see him, but he's cool. So we're going to do him. But the first thing we're going to paint tonight is this bad boy, the Midascore. So yeah, I've been trying to decide if I wanted to go all gold. So everything he touches turns to gold. It's amazing. Because he's corrupted by the Midas curse. So I'm not sure. I think what I might do is aim to do... No, I won't do gold on everything. Let's try some stuff. Johnny, hope you're having a great week, mate. It's a beautiful day today here in Brisbane, about 9,000 degrees. Very, very hot indeed. So I found myself sitting at home playing Aeon Trespass Odyssey for most of the day, which was glorious. Now I am embarking on a new journey tomorrow. Very exciting. Starting a brand new job. Been a long time since I've had a new job. Very long time. So I'm feeling pretty good. I would say a little nervous. Hello, Cragzog, but not really nervous. You know, if nerves were measured on a scale of normal human nerves, you know, I would say most people would be, when they say I'm feeling nervous, they'd be like a 5, 6 or 7 or something like that. I'm like a 2, which is nervous for me. Pretty good, mate. Yeah, so I'm going to be very cautious not spoiling anything for people that may be watching this VOD later on. So if you're watching the VOD and you're worried that I'm going to spoil stuff, don't worry. You can watch with impunity. I will give only my personal feelings and avoid any spoilers or anything like that. And I will speak to specific things that have already been communicated via the Kickstarter. So nothing that I say will be deemed a spoiler. Yeah, same role, Cragzog, similar role anyway. With a competitor of my original company I used to work for, but that's okay. Well, it's better than okay. It means I'll be able to walk in and feel pretty confident that I know exactly what I'm doing. But yeah, I'll say this about Cycle 4, Johnny. Having played now 2 of the available Titans, I've just literally had the Dahaka catch up to me. So before I got on stream tonight, I set up that. So probably tomorrow at this point, I will be facing off against my first showdown with the Dahaka. So yeah, I've played the Demijin and I've played the Babelian Lunacy. And I feel like the Titans, the Primordials in this cycle will be easily the most fun out of any cycle by far. Like the way that the game mechanics facilitate you soaring through the clouds to face these guys is just it's all time. So they really continue to impress me. ATO, they do a really great product, and I'm not sponsored in any way, so I can say whatever I want, and I say that it is an absolutely outstanding product. And I felt that way after playing Cycle 2. So I've never been compelled to write a review before on the Board Game Geek forums, but I felt compelled to write a review after I started Cycle 2, because Cycle 2 just took what, everyone's watching playthroughs of Cycle 1 and seeing fights against the Hecaton and the Labyrinthaurus, and everything's great and fine, and everyone's having a good time with the game. And I really enjoyed my first Cycle 1 playthrough. And then Cycle 2 rolls around, and everything just literally escalates enormously, both from a complexity of decision making, complexity of gameplay, everything just ramps up. And so I went from thinking that, this is a pretty good game, to, oh my god, this game is unbelievable. And so I went to BGG and I wrote that in a review, that I felt the game really came to life in Cycle 2. And so far, without putting any guarantees, I may feel that Cycle 4 is the best of them. And that's from a showdown perspective. I don't know how much the story perspective is going to hit it, but there's one moment, absolutely great moment, that happened very early on that I did not expect. And it was awesome. It was just another example of them taking what is a fresh and unique spin on ancient Greek mythology, incorporating characters and moments and things from that. So I haven't progressed the main storyline far. I'm only on story card 1B, so I can't really speak too much to that, but it's on par with Simon. It's on par with the other cycles, which is to say that it's very high quality writing and very high quality choices, very difficult ethical choices presented. They really leaned into the ethical choices in Cycle 2. Cycle 1 was good as well for that sort of stuff. Like, they had a lot of the downtrodden cult and stuff that you found yourself wanting to help them, even though they were the bad guys. Sort of. It's clever. It's a clever game. But I will say, after just providing some very positive and glowing commentary about it, I've referenced the rulebook more than just about any rulebook I think I've ever referenced, and every time I played a showdown, I played four showdowns, I think. I just have to constantly review the the thing. But I mean, it's been 2 years since I played, right? So it's not like it's just fresh in my mind. I'm remembering some stuff, but it is just better go and refer to that rulebook again, don't I? There's a lot of rules. It's the most. No, I think Cycle 3 had more rules. That took me a really long time to pass. The rules so far in this cycle, although the first time you read them, you're like, oh my god, what? Once you actually put them out on the board and start playing, it really flows quite well. So there's a particular mechanic that you get very, very early on in the cycle that really just completely changes the tone. Hey, Bun, how good is it going? Hey, just check it out. Yeah, it's Fabio levels of hair. I'm going to be rivaling the great Andrew Buckley in no time. My hair may even be as long as his by the time Crimson rolls around. Or not. We'll try. We make no promises. Yeah, I will need to know how to look after it. He's obviously got a luxurious head of hair, so we'll have to look for ways to maintain the standards that he sets. Well, I think that's the whole get up, mate. I think it takes him that amount of time just to get ready. I don't think that the majority of it is his hair. It's the rest of the ensemble. So what did I do yesterday? Streamed in the morning. Played some Aeon Trespass, and then watched the grand final of the rugby league. So it wasn't a great day. Oh, I booked some tickets to Cirque du Soleil, so that's exciting. Mossy's never been to Cirque du Soleil, so taking her there on Sunday next week. Get in. Mind you, I've got to tell you this, hopefully she doesn't hear it. Outrageous ticket prices. What the fuck? When did that happen? I feel like last time I went it was like $20. Fucking outrageous. Just stitch up. Anyway. Oh, beautiful. PAX will be fun. You guys are doing a big event there or something, aren't you? Doing the paint and take or something like that. Is that right? Yeah. Me starting this new job tomorrow, I'm already feeling fatigued. I've had basically a few weeks off. The idea of working a full day, oh, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to cope. Got double horns. Haha, beautiful. Cragzog. He's just weaseled his way into quite a few little things, hasn't he, Cragzog? We just gotta be careful we don't give him too much power. You know what they say? Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And I've never known a short person, hello Space, so I've never known a short person who didn't just absolutely abuse it when they got given power, so we've got to watch him. Good, good. It's Chumdab the Great and Terrible! Welcome, Chumdabs. The dabber of chums. Bunny, Legacy, Starless Night, Passage to Dawn. Is that right? Yep, cool. I know where you are. Yep. Great moments in that one. Would I be right in saying that the hero that is modelled on me, hello Yone, Wolfgar, had a wonderful moment in that book? Thibbledorf Point. What a guy. This creature is called a Midascore, Chumdab. It is from a board game called Aeon Trespass Odyssey, which arrived in my desk literally 1 week ago. And it's a boss battler in the vein of Kingdom Death. There's quite a few interesting characters that you fight. This is one of them. The actual game itself borrows heavily from ancient Greek mythology, and so in this particular cycle or story, we are actually facing off with creatures in ancient Persia. Our Greek soldiers are basically invading Persia. So we have a Xerxes, a version of Xerxes, the god king, etc., etc. And old King Midas is there with his Midas touch. And so this guy is called a Midascore. He's infected with the Midas touch, where everything he touches turns to gold. So that's why he's got a golden head, and why I'm doing like a desert sandy base, because we're in the sands of Persia, and he's turning stuff to gold. This is a showdown battle I haven't fought yet. I always like to have painted models when I fight dudes, so. Yes, the Keeper of Secrets. What a figure. What a great figure. Glorious figure. We'll probably talk about Golden Demon tonight, friends. There was a pretty big Golden Demon on the weekend over at Eschenspiel. And I don't know, is Buxo around? He's probably around tonight. Now that Daylight Savings is kicked in, maybe we'll see if we can get a Buxo for tonight and have a chin wag to him. I didn't talk to him about this prior, by the way, so. There's his face, apparently. I'll message him. Actually, Bunny, if you're in the chats, just send him a message for me if you want. I'm just going to keep painting for a bit. Yeah, that's. I'm sure Bucks has got some opinions about it. I haven't got too many strong opinions, but it was some nice stuff. Oh, nice. DC was in the chat. Must have been epic. Look, it's not for everyone. Us old buffheads. They've been around for a long time. It's a big deal for us. But yeah, not a big deal for everyone. Just a bit of casual mansplaining, hey, on the Warhams. Yeah, I mean, that's just boys, isn't it? I like the way people get passionate about things and want to talk about it. I think it's a great quality when people get passionate. Really do. But there's always a fine line to walk between passion and obsession, enthusiasm. Well, Chum Dabs, I would agree with you, but you've used the wrong Q. Social Q is CUE, in fact. And there you go. There's a little wonderful moment for you today. A little learning opportunity. Q's are people lining up, my friend. With a QUE. And here's another social cue. Correcting people's bad grammar or spelling is usually considered to be a dick move. Yep. there you go. Mate, social cues. I care not for your social cues. It is a fun mini space toy. It's true metallic metal, and yeah, obviously we're just going heavy into contrast paints here. I think I've spent a maximum of about an hour and a half on just about all of these figures, so we're not looking for anything life-changing here. We're just looking to create something interesting. That will look cool on my table. Very, very nice observation, Chum Dad. That is why I correct people. Because if I don't care about someone, I won't bother correcting anything to do with them. I will just let them live their life and continue to be a failure of existence. I start the new job tomorrow, actually, mate. Which is great. Really, really excited. It's been weighing on my mind quite a lot over the last 12 months. Many people that have been around for a while over that period of time would know that it has absolutely affected my ability to paint, hobby, stream in some cases, just function as a normal version of myself. So yeah, having a little bit of weight off the shoulders, it's obviously going to take some time to settle in. It's good. How's Beck's kids doing, Daz? Could be one of the funniest things I've ever seen you write, mate. And that's saying something. Because your comment the other day about what Darren was doing in Kingdom Death was also quite amusing. Yeah, no, didn't play games today, friends. No games. Bit of a tradition for us on public holidays to play board games. I was actually in the dictionary the other day, Daz, and I looked up Father of the Year in the dictionary, and there was a picture of you, mate. So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Don't do that, Jeno. Surely. It was a young picture of you, yes, mate. Very young. I think you're about 7. It's the last time you had hair. No, didn't play games today. Don't regret the choice. Had a nice relaxing day. Got myself in a good headspace for tomorrow. Feeling good. I just add an eensy bit of purple to this. Too much will be very bad. I did see, yeah, Phoenix did get a bronze. Very happy for Liam. Particularly at that event, that looked like a stunningly challenging event to win a Golden Demon at. So, well done to him. I'm very blessed to say that I know that guy. And I actually bought one of his models. So, in a way, I won that Golden Demon, you know, because I contributed to his ability to compete. So, Alright. Once again, the wonders of airbrushing makes us look like we can do a good paint job. Well, you should be happy. It's a huge achievement. Winning a Golden Demon in any competition is something to be lauded. And doing it at an event that had so many entrants and so many high quality entrants, it's pretty special. Yeah, some of the stuff I saw was obscene. Obviously, I wasn't there, but. So I like to Google information about these little monsters that I'm painting, because I haven't actually fought this, because I like to wait till it's painted. So I just like to grab a little information about it to try and ensure that I'm doing a job that is reflective of the story. And this particular guy has these little things on his wings, which are actually mentioned in the fluff. I'll read the fluff. It says, its aurification effect will turn any weapon striking its hide to gold, rendering them brittle and weak. You'll need to stay nimble if you don't want to do things, blah blah blah. Soaring over the Persian sands on glittering wings, while all it touches turns to gold, while the air sacs on its wings, combined with the wind curse, allow it to take to the skies with ease. I don't think this is a creature from actual some sort of interpretation of Greek myth. So I don't think, anyway, I don't know of a Midascore. Sort of looks like a basilisk to me. I used to have a book that my dad got me for my 14th or 15th birthday, which I only chucked out a year or two ago. Actually, it was it was a guide to all Greek, Roman, and a whole lot of other mythological creatures and deities and everything. I regret chucking it out, actually. What have the Womans ever done for us? I think I made a Monty Python quote on my stream yesterday, actually, that someone got. It's a nice time in Brisbane at the moment, but it's about to get very hot, and that means that the painting desk will get very, very hot, and the paint water will dry very, very quickly. And I was observing a conversation in the King Death Discord a couple of days ago, where someone was asking how much water to have in your palette, and the answer is it actually depends entirely on your conditions, because I have to top up my water palette pretty much daily. If I don't, the paint will dry out and everything will be done. So whereas in places where the climate's a little cooler, I am certain that those people would have to change their paint water very infrequently. I'd love to have that experience, but generally that is not my experience. I have to be honest about my feelings at the moment towards this game, and I wish I didn't feel this way. But the other week, I came very close to securing a pre-production copy of another game that I'm really, really excited about, and so that that didn't end up panning out, and I didn't end up getting the pre-production copy, which was devastating because I was very, very excited and anticipating getting to play this game that I've been thinking about for a long time, and literally a couple of days later this one arrived, and so I'm kind of stuck in this limbo where I know this game's very good. I know this game's probably going to fall in my top 10 games of all time, but right now I'm just thinking about this other game that I wish I had. Buxo, do you want to join me and chat Golden Demon for a bit, mate? I know you probably already went through it last night, but if you got some time free and you want to chinwag about GD, look through some of the entries. Oh, good. That makes one of us. Well, let me know when you're ready. I'll jump in the chat. Oh, you're already there. I've got your bucks. You got me?
Yeah, mate. Let me
Oh,
just.
look at
Let
you.
me. Oh,
I've got to fix. I got to fix the.
yeah, you gotta line me up, mate.
I'll line you up.
Sound seems okay. Is everyone okay with the sound?
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine.
I didn't. No, I didn't get a mic upgrade at all. I think it's just the way that we run it.
Yeah, no, I'm average. I could definitely run bucks through the stream. But I don't.
I'm just gonna speak because I think I'm coming over your.
You want to get my headphones, Mossy? I don't really want you to, but sure.
Yeah, if you get your headphones, that'll work a lot better.
All right, hang on a second. Where's that thing I need to do? There, filters, browse. He's done it. He's done it.
He's got it.
He's a
The
legend.
chief.
The
The chief,
king.
great big food.
The superstar. Big Dano.
I'm repping the Clifford tonight. The Clifford special,
Oh,
Cliff Rod.
JC. Oh, good
Yeah.
work,
Well,
Mossy.
we're on. It's on. We're path to Monty right now, right? So we got to give the big fella support as he gets himself ready to make the trip.
It is actually getting pretty close. This is only a month away.
Yeah. Yeah.
You going, Mossy? Go through. Quick run.
Hey, Moscow.
Buck said hi, Mossy. Hi. Alright, let me see if I can remember how to do this. I need to click on... this. 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 Did everyone hear those sounds, or was that just me?
Everyone can hear those. I heard those.
With the little bingle bingle?
Yeah. It was quite nice actually. Do.
Alright, is Buck's coming through loud and clear for everyone? I think I've fixed it.
Yep.
Paging Dr. Beats. Emergency.
Jeez, that song gets stuck in your head,
I
eh?
know. Emergency.
It's the movement as well.
Paging Dr. Beats.
All right, so yeah, Golden Demon, Essence Spiel.
What was your experience, mate? I haven't been keeping too close to it. I've just seen.
Yeah. So we a group of us sort of you get excited at this time of year for Golden Demon. And usually the European one is the
Pinnacle.
not the US one is sound and solid. It's early in the year, and then the UK one or wherever it's going to be in the Europeans tends to be the bigger one. So yeah, we're geared up for it, and Timbo, myself, Jared, Dave, Benny, Jimmy, a little bit for Benny and Jimmy. Just sort of compiled all the data we could, like with photos coming out beforehand, put it all together, and then sort of spent the night before judging, kind of going through. Basically, like for the most part, sort of judging how we think it would fall and the way things would go, which is like that's a bit of fun, but also it's a challenge because you're only going off photos. You're not going off all the information, and a few entries you don't get to see. But yeah, it was good fun to compile them all and sort of see it all and find a way to participate in it, even though it's on the other side of the world. So yeah, that was our experience, and then. So, night one, we just got together and started to compile things and had a chat. And then night two, we sort of judged it up the way we thought things would fall.
And how close?
Volomir does such a good job of kind of at least getting a photo of almost all what would be in the sort of top 10, 15 of each category. And he gets it up pretty quickly. So you can start to work through that. I think it's a pretty fun exercise, in all honesty, to do just with the amount of judging that we've got coming up in the next sort of 6 months. It's a good exercise to do to just keep sharp and see how you go as well, right? It's a good measure of
How did you
if
go?
you um me personally or like in general, like the crew.
Yeah, either.
Either. I feel pretty good personally about how I went. I absolutely bombed two categories pretty hard, but I feel pretty good about almost everything else. So
The only one that came out of left field for me were those two. Um,
yeah.
CHK Studios Nurgle thing not getting anything absolutely floored me because I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, we will park that. Park that. We'll have a really good discussion about that.
Will we?
We've got a really good. That's a good one to talk about. So that can be a whole little segment to talk about in itself.
And then there's a dude in the Kingdom Death Discord, a lovely man who also does a YouTube channel by the name of Zumikito.
Yes, Zumakito. Yeah, he's a lovely dude.
Yeah,
We
amazing.
judged him at the first Kingdom Death
Yeah,
competition. He did really well. I was really, really fond of. At one point when we were doing our final breakdowns in Masters,
he was going to win.
um, he was like we were making strong arguments for him. And I
Yeah.
think he slipped back to third in the end, wasn't? But nonetheless, it was.
It was either third or second. I think. I think he
Mm,
might have been second.
yeah.
Well, yeah, he entered. He had some stuff that he put together as well. That was also, I thought, fucking unbelievable. So,
Yeah, he'd
um,
had a really, really like it seemed a really considered year of painting, and there was definitely like a marked improvement in his overall presentation and finish. You can just tell when someone makes I don't know
leap.
what's an all encompassing word. I guess a leap, right? Like, um, yeah, he definitely did so. So
All
yeah,
right,
the
I'll
so the
bring it up
comp,
in a second.
yeah, go for it. Yeah, if you bring it up, and then we'll start to have a look. And
I'll just finish this little bit, and
it was fun. It's fun to basically do basically this is like a dry run for Dave and I judging together, and
then
because we're obviously judging at Crimson with Nat. And yeah, it's fun. We can get into it a little bit, which is good.
you get
I
into the,
enjoy that.
do you get into the source, or do you
Oh yeah,
get
we
into each
got we
other?
got into it. We got into it a few times, him and Dave and I. So
All right, let's bring this bad boy up. The wonderful. Um,
I'm just gonna say hello to anyone who sort of specifically said hello. Hey, Space Toy, how are you, man? Craig Zog, Damus, Primus. I've been absolutely getting stuck into basketball season's about to start, and I've just been mercilessly ragging on Seamus's basketball team and taking the piss. So
boom. Oh, look at this demo. Fuck, you're an absolute
he's
streaming guru, hey?
Seamus has not returned giving me any smack though. He's just been very polite. He's just been
He's
putting up with me being an absolute pest. So
he's a kind man. He's too kind for us. All right, I'll just do a little bit of this Bobby Dazzler.
do you want to scroll down maybe to the bottom and work your way up as well on the article? Because
All right, we can do that. There he is. Nice man. You want to go Slayer Sword first?
no, just a little bit up. You can start on the young bloods and go up from there.
All right, Youngbloods. Is this no? This is open. We're starting at open.
Oh yeah, you can start it open. Yeah, sure. So open tends to be like staffing category as well, right? Like there'll be a bit of stuff in there, and then there'll be staffing stuff. It's the only place that staff can go. So
Some cool
um,
French-sounding names there. Baptiste Richieb, Pierre
yeah,
Bragg.
yeah. Baptiste is not can't be a staff member because he entered other categories and did pretty well. So
Yeah,
um,
that's
yeah,
that's a
cool stuff
Harlequin.
in here. Yeah. Solitaire. Let me just pull my own screen up.
Harlequin facing off against a little Imperial Guardsman. Maybe a Cadian, is it?
No, it's just a Harlequin. I think. I mean, it could be. I think it's a solitaire still. I think it's like his
No,
own take on a solitaire.
on the ground.
Yeah, no, yeah. On the ground is a blooded mate. That's a Chaos Trader Guardsman.
Oh, is it? That's definitely out of my wheelhouse. I thought he was Acadian Imperial
Nah,
Guard.
well, he's got a similarity to Cadian armor, but that's a blooded. Yeah, so this is just really good Warhammer painting. Um, Super
Yeah,
cool.
strong.
If you look across this category, it's all just pretty clean, crisp. Um,
We've talked about
sort of
style before on this channel around
probably
this,
had too many conversations about it. In all honesty,
and
yeah,
I do always find it really interesting watching the Golden Demon style of painting slash judging. It's always a bit different. You know, like that they feel different to me. Like they feel like they judge in a different way. Yeah, good or bad.
yeah. You always have to be mindful about how you talk about the way that judging goes right across the different painting events. I think that it's probably no secret from just if you just watch Golden Demon alone, whether you have any inside information about it. But it's sort of miniature painting at its height, at excellence, right? And
Yep.
what defines miniature painting, and that's probably Golden Demon's probably the one that it's at the forefront of. Whereas maybe some of the other painting competitions have more of a scope for some artistic endeavor in the
Yep.
space as well. Not saying that there's not art either. I don't even want to talk about art, but
Neither do I.
um, yeah. But you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
I made the observation purely because I feel like it's so evident when you look at this that they are looking for absolute technical excellence because there's no part of me that could ever paint a model that looked like this ever.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. Well, they're looking for that, and that won't be enough for you to just win a Golden Demon. There
No,
has to be
no.
much more than that.
Yep,
Your
yep,
storytelling, how well you have immersed your work
yep.
in the scope of what Warhammer existence you're playing around in. Your scaling, all sorts of stuff gets
Yeah,
factored in. You can still convey a lot of emotion through these. A
yeah.
lot of people have a lot of emotion attached to Warhammer, so.
Fuck, these Youngbloods entries are good, eh?
Yeah, I mean, if, it's no secret, man. We live in an era where if you want to get good in miniature painting, you have all the resources, vastly more and infinite resources than we had when we
That's
were
true.
younger.
That's true. Oh, okay.
So
Uh,
where are you looking now?
Diorama and Jewel I'm at now. So there's three
Okay, yeah. So there's three really awesome pieces of work.
and
Obviously, you have
different
monster.
too. Different.
Yeah, you have Urkers, you have Monstroids, and Rodrigo. Has featured in, I think he featured in White Dwarf maybe, I want to say earlier this year with a bunch of dioramas that he had done. He's really, really quite good at doing Warhammer dioramas. He captures a lot of that Warhammer feeling inside of it.
I love all three of these for completely different reasons. The Monstroids one, like I love Monstroids. I love what he does. I think that's just an obscene
Well, I
piece.
think the Monstro is a perfect example of that there is vastly more than one style of painting that
Yeah,
can
yeah, for
do
sure,
well
for sure,
at a
for
Golden
sure. I mean,
Demon.
Kaha's won Golden Demons, right? So obviously
Yeah, 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 of course.
it's not
I
just
mean, even Pat Sancho won a silver at this competition,
yeah.
so and her style's quite different. So you can just cut me out, like leave me out, and we'll just
No,
talk over
yeah,
there.
I'm not doing it on purpose. It's just the as soon as I click on a different screen that's not your face.
Yeah, but if my face is going to block up the pictures, like get me out of there.
All right, I'll turn you off for a
I'm
sec.
I'm not I'm not important.
You you're important to me, mate. Did you know that? You're important to me.
I did know that. So this is a great one. I want to come back to Monstroids later because there's a really good conversation about this piece that was shared last night. Ultimately, I mean, I think Monstroids just some people just innately know how to live in Warhammer worlds, and he's one
Yeah,
of them. Like he just gets
he
it.
does it. He does great
Yeah.
lighting. He does. You know, I did a little class on dioramas, or a little jam session, and he just nails so many of the things I talked about in my session, which is you know, temperature contrast and focal points and
This temperature contrast is really really
yeah,
cool, and his
negative
decision making.
space and yeah, he just really hits all these things in a fascinating way. So
So he's got a lot of what we try to do is we get the on night one we compiled all of the photos coming out of the event, and then we do our best to go out and source all of the photos from their Instagrams, right? So we can sort of see everything as basically we're doing our best to try and see
Yeah.
the miniature or miniatures in the best possible light. Um, so yeah, Monstro is obviously awesome. He's a previous Slayer Sword winner, so that's something to note.
Yeah.
And he tends to often focus on these really you know, um, I'm going to call them just for simple terms, like these heaven and hell style works, right? That's
Yeah.
like whatever represents good and then whatever represents evil. Of course, there's a lot of ambiguity in Warhammer about that, but this is pretty clear cut. So yeah, I mean, it's just really really cool. They're all really great entries.
The
This one we couldn't do this category because we didn't have all the information.
Yeah.
But
Right.
we had absolutely had Monstroy's placing,
Yeah.
if not winning gold. From our personal perspective as a team, we didn't actually see Rodrigo's won the one in bronze. Is it Rodrigo? I
Yeah.
think I got that right.
The Rodrigo one. The more I look at it, the more impressive it is. Honestly,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
super clean and really
Yeah.
great composition.
Yeah, the triumvirate of St. Catherine, like they literally feel like they're marching off the plinth, right into your
Yeah.
world. So super sick. The Urka one, we only had a photo. Urka's one, we only had a photo on the background, but we all felt that we were like, if that's well painted, that's gonna do really, really well. We basically had the silhouette and that's it. We were very eager to want to see it. But yeah, you
That's
know,
technical brilliance at its best.
yeah, yeah.
And even just the resin pour looks quite immaculate as well. So imagine the nerves on that resin pour, hey?
um,
That is all time.
yeah. Yeah, Urka's one came in super late. Yeah. So, if you scroll down, because that's a dual cat. That's
Jewel and
dual.
diorama, yeah.
Yeah, it's dual and diorama, right? So you kind of have one jewel, you have one diorama, and then you have a piece that is both a jewel and a diorama all in one. So you kind of get three different takes of the category, which is really cool, and three completely different styles of doing it. So I think that's a great success for that category. I think that what I love to see about Golden Demon is when everyone who's entering it elevates the category on a whole, because next year you know that category is going to get even better, right? So
Three incredible entries. I have a preference, and it's also cool to see. Because judges obviously have a bias and a preference.
yeah. You got to, as a judge, right? It's two things. You both have to factor in when your bias is kicking into overdrive, and you also have to be able to speak as best you can, right? You have to be able to look at things that maybe aren't up your alley, but you have to be able to explore them and merit them for what they're really good for, and award that. So these are all really cool. I mean, I think James Tarrow is kind of carving himself out a bit of a dominant streak here, right? In the epic scale, I think he's won quite a
I have
few in the
zero
last
percent
years.
interest in the epic scale, if I'm honest.
Do
But
you?
those, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I love the idea of it, right? Warmaster and epic. I
Yeah.
love the idea of these grand battles, but the models just that they were always too small to really get any dynamism in for mine, and so
Okay. I'd probably challenge that personally. Like, I think that with the Titans from Titanicus, and now with what's coming out with Legion Imperialis, like these little dreadnoughts and drop pods and things, like the Titans, you can tell some really great stories with, in my opinion. I think we've seen some excellent entries in this space. So,
I believe
um,
you.
uh,
I believe you.
yeah, I like, of the three there. Like, if we just go off this picture, I think that they've like, I support the decision they make. I think that's pretty good, well-rounded result. I could have silver and gold swapped
Yeah,
personally.
I could too, but I think the
I
detail,
don't, but I don't hate it either way.
uh,
Like, and they should both be stoked with their results. So.
the water on that base is also pretty sublime. So
Yeah, and I mean, Dreadfleet, it was such a flash in the pan, right, in the Warhammer space. So to have a model come back from that time is kind of fun and cool, and it's, model choice is important at Golden Demons. So
I actually felt like I dreamed Dreadfleet for a while because it just there was a movie I felt like I dreamed once called Return to Oz. I felt like it just never
Mhm.
existed. I never saw it anywhere. And
Yeah, right. It was
Dreadfleet's
just
the
like
same.
blip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Necromunda, my all-time game. What about this from fucking Hendarian? How good is that?
Yeah, so we had some great discussions about this one, this category. I think Dave and I, I'll speak. I'm not going to speak for Dave too much. It would have been great. Actually, we both could have come on, but he's got a bit of a headache today. So we were actually scheduled to have a bit of a hangout tonight and look at our performance, and also just like marvel at cool stuff people have painted. To be honest, any excuse to look at cool painted miniatures. Let's be real. So yeah, this one, all three of these we all had as the sort of the benchmark in this category. We all thought they were pretty solid. We didn't really have an order on this one apart from we thought that the top one could be the one that would win it.
Yeah.
The Hendarians one went like 50-50. This photo is much better than the photo that we were working off, and I think we all unanimously agreed. We agreed that the background for this it's really quite solid. It shows that you can do like quite a simple background and shape, and as long as you're factoring in your storytelling and your immersion to what you're trying to talk about with your work, then you can do awesome. So I think the fact that the miniatures have been done pretty well as well, which you'd expect from Hendarian, shows that it's a good piece. In bronze, the backdrop for bronze is, I'm a all in, all out guy on backdrops, right? You know that. I think the backdrop on the bronze entry from Rodrigo is really, that speaks to me. I think it's just,
well, it's Necromunda, isn't it?
yeah, it really is. And then having a weird little funky monkey creature thing there, and a servitor and an Ogren, it's pretty cool. And then the winner, I think, it's pretty clear cut, this one. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think so for me, the first place doesn't really scream Necromunda. You don't really see a lot of stone stuff underneath. It's an Eshiganger, and it's on a bike with some weird creatures, right? To me, that doesn't scream. That screams Gorka Morka more than Necromunda.
Okay. But
I think the technical painting of that one, is superior. I think that probably the angle they've taken the photo on is probably not the optimal viewing angle.
Yeah, this is probably not the optimal one, but I will just say I think the photos have got a lot better.
The photos are exceptional. I just think that the angle they've selected is wrong.
I agree with you. But just addressing that, there has been issues with the photos regularly. I think it's good. As Alexi's saying, and so with Necromunda in the edition before, sort of, or the season before the one that we're in now, we'll say it's actually all about the gangs leaving the hive, and they're doing runs from hive to hive. So kind of picture like Smuggler's Run type things. So every gang got like a version of vehicles and specialists.
Right.
Which is pretty cool. So these are the Escher skiffs and that, So this is quite fitting for this season just gone of Necromunda. The season that's coming, they're kind of going back into the hives, except for this time they're going into Hive Secundus, and it's going to be like it's got a really like alien-y, Tyranidy sort of Romulus sort of vibe to it. So super cool. And each one of these kind of touches on a different. I love when a category. I really love when a category touches all these different points in lore and theme. Like everything's not the same,
Yeah.
And I think all three of these are like pretty wildly apart, which I love. So
I agree. I was say about Hendarians. For me, the dudes in front don't match in with the base as well as they could. The back.
Yeah.
Their backdrops a bit worn down, a bit rusted, and then here's these super clean guys, which is telling a story a little bit. The Arbites are obviously.
Yeah. I'll be happy to say, for my personal opinion, the backdrop was doing a lot of great work in that piece. The figures were painted nice enough, and the backdrop was the.
I think the backdrop carries the piece, but good overall. A bit of Blood Bowl, jeepers. That.
Blood Bowl's Blood Bowl's a great one. Like Nicholas or NRM, I'm a big fan of his work. Like he just does all the. He's like kind of a traditionalist, in the way that he presents his figures, and he just does it really, really well. So
that is one of the best painted figures I've seen in a long time. That dude, that is just
Zug.
The complexity in the blue into the steel. into the green reflections from the grass, and like,
He's had an exceptional year for Golden
that is
Demon.
a
He
textural
cleaned, yeah,
contrast as well. That's an incredible piece. I don't think I
yeah.
give that enough time.
He cleaned. He cleaned. He's done a really, really well.
He did. He won another gold in another category, didn't he?
Yeah, he won a silver, I think.
Yeah.
And he might have won a gold in another category, and he won a whole bunch in America as well. So
That is an absolute clear cut 1, 2, 3. I can't see anything. Although that backdrop looks more like fucking
Hogwarts.
Gryffindor.
Yeah, I was sort of like, this was I said before I polarize on backdrops. I kind of went out on this backdrop. But it works for the scene. Like, so it's good. It's a really awesome piece. The movement, like
The
one,
movement, yeah.
we've got great movement, and then we've got the other two pieces are basically in the same format. They're just sort of, they're still lifey. Here's the miniature in its glory. So both really cool. Order's great.
Yeah, I'll
Um,
go ahead and say that Zug could be my favourite piece in the lot of them. So, all right, we got some Lord of the Rings. Another thing I just don't care about.
Yeah, interesting one. Obviously, this is the category that had the most contention around it,
Did it?
with what happened to Neil's entry being non-judged. So um, that's probably a conversation I'm not that interested in having. Are you?
Well, I'll be honest. I didn't even know what
Yeah,
happened. Uh,
yeah.
but yeah, no, I don't really care. I just want to talk about what's on the table.
Yeah,
So,
what's on the table? So, um, I I I think maybe the silver for me would have been in the.
the silver for me doesn't even get into the fucking placings because of that base. That's just one of the worst bases I've ever seen in a Golden Demon. Look at it next to the Glorfindel. It's just fucking outrageous that the two are even in the same conversation.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it looks like it. Lord of the Rings is one of those categories that you can do it. So the great conversation is scale modeling basis versus miniature basis, right? They're kind of they come from different sides of the hobby pie, or the hobby space spectrum. Hobby spectrum is probably the right word there. We're constantly trying to amalgamate the scale modeling style of doing bases in, and you've kind of got a pretty good example of one going one way and one going the other. So, a lot of people will polarize and take it or leave it. I don't mind it. To me, it very much looks like the way that
It does. It does
the
actually look like
cans.
Rohan though.
Yeah,
Like when
yeah,
you,
it does, right? It looks like the cans or the
yeah,
burial tomes. Good storytelling with the white poppies. So, is that what they were? White poppies or
yeah.
whatever? I don't know. I'm sure Lord of the Rings enthusiasts will
Look,
correct me on that. So.
I'll just go out and say I'm okay with it. They're
Yeah, that's fair. I think
fine.
compositionally they're both pretty good.
No,
I think the painting.
Glorfindel shits on the fucking other one compositionally. Like there's an elegance in the shapes of that. Like look at his sword. It actually creates the shape of that doorway.
Yeah, sure, sure.
It's magnificent. Glorfindel should have been gold. I agree with Timbo. With the caveat that painting anything in whites and having enough value contrast is always a fucking challenge, and that's a nice Saruman the white. So
Yeah, I mean, I think where the Glorfindel might be challenged is in the actual painting of it.
yeah,
So,
for sure, for sure.
and these are painting competitions. So,
Here's our boy. Phoenix miniature art with his
yeah,
slide.
yeah. So we weren't sure if this was going to place or not the Mazda Mundi. We didn't actually have a photo of Christian Clausen's silver winning entry, so we didn't have that to work off. But we, I think, unanimously felt that the Angelo DiCello's dwarves were going to get the W for this category.
I painted the. Is that the original or is that an updated
No, no, this is
version?
the new one.
Yeah, yeah.
Came
I was
out
gonna
earlier
say
this year.
I painted the original, and I
Yeah,
also painted the big child version of that guy, which was
yeah.
one of the most
It's
fun.
just a stellar figure. This, it's
Yeah,
off its head.
that's unreal. I do
Um,
love dwarves.
I mean, Angelo DiCello's, the
Yeah,
most
he's
decorated Golden Demon winner of
Golden
all time,
Demon
right? I think he's
royalty.
got 60, nearly. I think after this, he might have 70 now.
Yeah,
So,
Golden Demon royalty,
um,
absolute superstar.
he's just, this is his wheelhouse, man, and he
Yeah,
kills it.
yeah,
I love this entry. This I'd love to have. I'd love to own it.
yeah.
You know.
I'm not
Um,
I'm not big on the is it an errant knight, questing knight? I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, I like. Look, that's a new model that came out earlier in the year as well. I love this model. I would love to own this model. I think
Mm.
it's great, and I think this is. And I like it. I think it's awesome. I think it's an exceptionally painted figure, and
Yeah, I
I
concur.
actually I think I like that. I like the elegance and simplicity of it in the silver. I mean, there's a lot more work that's gone into Phoenix's in regards to the construction. Um, but you know, this is the thing. Like, just like effort doesn't always equal to results, does it? In regards to like where you choose to put it. So,
I
or
reckon.
scale or size might not always be.
I
Either
reckon
way,
that
yeah,
that you have to take into account some personal feelings. Like I am always erring on the side of grandiose, large, because I know how
yeah,
much effort goes into them. So like
yeah,
Monstroy's and Liam's piece for me speak
yeah.
far more than the small jewel and the small single
Yeah,
figure
I
here.
get it. I get it. And
But
I go the other way, funnily enough,
yeah,
right? Where
yeah,
it's like the like I will never lose the word miniature before everything, right? And so the small, the single figure will always probably in this sort of lens be the at the core of
I do want to
what
specify
this
that
is.
I don't want to detract from the
Yeah.
insanity of the painting on that night. It's just I'm less
So
captivated by a single figure than I am by a
this
fucking
yeah, this is a
frog riding
tough
a
cat.
dinosaur.
Tough category, right?
Oh
Like
yeah,
they're all
yeah,
awesome. Phoenix is a jet, man. Like
yeah,
there's no talking smack on any of these guys'
yeah,
names.
yeah,
Like these are all
yeah.
killers. Like, and they deserve everything they get. And on any given day, some of these categories can be split multiple ways. So
Horus Heresy. I didn't. So is that Jagatai Khan?
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my god, I didn't know they had a model for that guy. That is
Yeah,
sensational.
we've got a model for every single Primarch, I think, at this point. And now they're doing new ones as well, like enhanced versions of them. So
So that goes back a long time into my Games Workshop knowledge banks, right? So if I can remember the White Scars Primarch. But I tell you what,
yeah.
I do remember the White Scars Primarch because he was sick. He was sick. Jagatai
Uh,
Khan.
Yeah, there were a lot of Horuses at this event. There was a lot of Horuses.
Yeah.
So, this was a tough one for us. I mean, I'm glad you can see this photo of the gold winning entry now because, um, the photo we had didn't really give it the best run. I can see why it won. Like if we were, like,
Mm.
and I can definitely go with that. But I quite liked Nicholas's entry. Um,
Again, I'll go back to my little thing where I did talk about dioramas and that the Nicholas's entry is just so appealing to me in terms of the aesthetic design, the flow of it, everything about it. You know, it just captivates me, and I'm interested to look at it. Whereas this,
yeah.
it's okay, but I really
Yeah.
struggle with just square on front on things.
Yeah, that was in our discussions fairly heavily. And we still had some pretty we still had some thoughts in regards to how Nicholas chose to do his base as well. What I will say, like leaving those two alone and just focusing on the Jagatai Khan, I probably when we were looking through this I'm really stoked to see how good this actually is
Mm,
because again when you're operating off cabinet shots and like some Instagram photos, and some people don't put their photos on their Instagram until
mm,
after the event as
mm,
well. So, I could see the Khan in first in this, like
mm.
like I could see it win the gold in this category. Like
Yeah,
it's in
the
this photo alone, it just looks sick, man. So it's
it's
really soft.
stunning paint job, stunning figure. All three of those are just top tier. But yeah, I would
Mm.
probably have gone the Nils one in third, and two and three and one and two respectively. But
Yeah, yeah.
that's just a coin flip for all three of them. That's just it has to come down to personal taste at that point. Like you can't split the painting on those. Look at the marble effects on that. That's unreal.
Yeah, well, you can start to factor things like that are generic to all, right? You can be
Mm,
like, well, Space Marine is sizably smaller, which makes things more like trickier. That's a factor you can factor in.
mm,
That sounded fucking lame, but you get my point.
mm.
I've done a lot of talking about those models in the last few days.
Well, don't feel like you
Um,
have to speak too much, mate. We're just here to have a
yeah.
nice time and talk. Go
Yeah, this
Volleyball.
this okay, so yeah, this I think personally is going to be the most rapidly growing category across Golden Demon. I think that this category, the Underworlds category, just has all gas. Like
It's
there was at least like all of the finalists in this were all pretty sick pieces of work. Like Underworlds has the scope to be a very, very, very good, strong category.
It should be. It should
Yeah.
be the absolute pinnacle category because the models that came out, the ones that I painted, every single one I've seen, every warband,
Mm-hmm.
I reckon it's Games Workshop at their absolute best. Like
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen a warband that wasn't just fucking epic. And then
So
it's the right number of models to just have a huge impact factor. Like
yeah, and you get really different
yeah,
takes because it's
oh
like 50, over 50 war bands now,
yeah,
right? So and you can also enter just a single figure from the war band as well,
mm,
you
mm.
know? So yeah, this is just a sick category.
I love Ladislav's take on the Zinchian dudes.
Yeah.
That's
I
sick.
thought this was going to be pretty sound. Across our group, we had all of these being the
Looks
ones
Volomir's
that got
photo
through.
looks a lot overexposed. It looks like it hasn't, or maybe that's my screen, but um, I love that. I
Uh,
love that scene.
Orange and green, and the pieces next to it are all dark, so
Yeah.
that's gonna also play a factor. So
Savage Orcs, love Savage Orcs. Hey, how good are they?
yeah, they're super
What are
good.
they called now? Or like weird boys or
Uh,
something, or
no, they're a savage orc. They're called bone splitters.
bone splitters?
Yeah.
And obviously, this Crimson Court is probably one of the best fucking collection of figures they've ever released. I painted
Yeah,
them.
I'm still shattered to this day that this didn't win the miniatures of the year for the year
Oh,
that it was in because I don't think anyone this could be the most painted figures of the last like 3 or 4 years.
they're just unreal. I did them and I loved them. Absolutely loved every second about them. Um, I think
All right,
I think you probably
all right.
I would have put the okay. Well, you want to say something here about Thibaut's piece, do you?
Well, we can go up. So what's and go to gold as well. Like yeah. So I mean, if you on any other comp entering large 40K, you would feel like um with the work that's put in for Tibo. I don't know Maria, and haven't seen much of her journey, so I can talk about Tibo though. Like
He's
the work that went into this is pretty insane. So, um, and then obviously David Perryman, Infernal Brush. He's been out of the studio now for about 5 years. This guy just does incredible work for the community. He helps so many people learn the advanced way to paint Warhammer. He's a big contributor. If not, he might have been one of the guys to lead the Evi Archive project. I want to give this guy all his flowers because like he's an excellent streamer. He's an excellent content creator. He's an exceptional community member, um, and rightly just so well deserved. Like this is insanely good.
I I just want to point this out, right? Here's me painting like this and just trashing myself around with just like, yeah, I'm just gonna do this in like 20 minutes and fucking plop around with this. And here we are
Yeah,
looking at possibly one of the greatest figures I've ever seen painted.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
feel like, what am I doing with my life? That is that that is. Do you remember when Secret Workshop did his Troggoth and it won Slayer
Yeah,
Sword?
yeah. When
Like
Maxim for now, yeah,
I didn't think that you could top that, but this may have done that. You know, like this guy is
yeah.
just
And
unbelievable.
it shows the power of trolls, man. Trolls are just there are certain we were talking about this a lot. There are certain tropes in Warhammer that if you tracked data wise over like all of the golden demons, there's certain things that do well, and trolls generally do well.
Yeah,
Funnily enough, in Lord of the Rings, Golem generally does really well. There's a lot of golems a lot of the time,
yeah.
but
Even you go back far enough, back in the trolls, back in the early days, those trolls with the fat bellies were awesome.
yeah.
That's
So scrolling down in this category, I probably have it. I have David way out in front on this particular one without bringing down any of the other entries, and then I probably have Tybalt in second and Maria in third.
mm, mm.
But Maria's figure is like it's a lovely figure. The nominal metallic on it's really really nice. Like really like that sort of bright. Doing nominal metallic that stays in the greys. Obviously, it's got a bit of brown in it too. Like it's not the easiest thing to do without it sort of breaking its illusions. So
Tibbo's I think should definitely be second, but
yeah,
it's again we're going off photos, so you know you
yeah.
can't really say that the 360 view on that thing may have created more visual interest, but
Yeah.
Perryman first,
Monster. Just like,
Daylight second.
yeah, yeah. Just so good.
Uh,
All right, so this is a category I said I had some clangers. I think unanimously we clangered this one. Um, we didn't have it in this order at all.
I thought Patricia's is awesome. That's a cool thing. I saw her. She posted a picture of it, and I thought, oh, that's going to do pretty well. But um,
Yeah. Um, I thought that maybe I thought so for me. I thought that the third place piece was sort of like we've seen this composition like quite a few times in the last 12 months. Great to see the Warhulk in there doing well.
you love that guy.
It's a great model. Everyone should paint it. Super fun.
Award-winning Bucks paint job.
Yeah, right. Like I thought that maybe we'd seen that format maybe a little bit too much. You know what I mean? So it might not get there, but hey, these are all sick models. So and they're painted really well.
Yeah, great composition on the squigs. The last Warband does nothing for me. I think it's just a very, fine paint job. I'm not enamored with it at all. I would have probably put Patricia's ahead of these guys, but I do like the dynamic nature of this.
Yeah, this one was a one that was talked about a fair bit as well. Stoked to see Jonathan Devos win. That guy's been grinding pretty hard at Gotham Demon for the last few years. So you always love when you see someone who's probably fallen in that commended /finals pin section a whole bunch, then just come through and have a win. So
the John Ninuses of the world out there.
To
see him get a win, it feels like a win for all of us. But Jonathan's been doing stuff for a long time, and it's cool to see him get a gold.
Yeah, we had some thoughts about like if you're gonna like I felt that maybe like I like this photo a lot more of Jonathan Devos's one just because the teals and the greens come together a lot more. In the photo that we had, they were quite jarringly apart. So we're like, if you're gonna lean into like a monotone palette, then you might need to just do it like bring everything into the greens and then shift color one way or another. Dave's suggestion was like pushing the tails toward the blue greens, and then I thought that maybe you can push toward peachy greens toward the faces, and then you can do stuff. But all in all, I mean, this picture here certainly shows why it deserved to win, in my opinion. So awesome, stoked for him. Should be really proud of himself. That's an awesome result. This is my favorite. I had this category. Timo and I watched the results at like 2:00 in the morning, and I was stoked that I called this exactly how it folded. So, obviously pretty easy. Well, no, I won't say that. Not pretty easy, but Albert certainly fired an early salve with putting probably arguably one of my most favorite figures that I've ever seen. And I'm sure for everyone that's the case. Very, very. The day before this went out, and everyone was like, "Oh, righto, let's go."
I will say this in probably an uncontroversial way. If that Troggoth wasn't in this competition, this wins Slayer Sword by a country mile.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a fair whack. Actually, we'll hold that because the conversation that I want to have at the end of this will tie that in. So,
Albert's on another level. I think what he does is just absolute. And the scary thing for Albert. When you see it in the flesh, it looks like you're looking at a photo. That's the thing that just does my head in. It just looks too hyper real to be real. It's like watching Blu-ray for the first time. It's just crazy.
I love the way it goes about it. As I get older in this journey, my appreciation and fondness for what Albert does just continues to rise
because it's more and more.
It's just. Who wouldn't want that in their cabinet? I'd look at that. If that was in my cabinet, I'd walk past and stop and look at it every single day that I had it.
Every day, and love it. Every day.
APS getting the silver is pretty awesome. I sort of felt that was going to be the case. And then Magnus with his probably the best painted Karthos Bastian Karthalos that I think I've seen today.
Two unbelievable models that just pale into insignificance against Albert's piece for mine.
Yeah. So this here is the strongest category, I think.
Yeah.
Of the event.
God, I love that. That's so good. What do we got here? Some 40k stuff. I'm really uninterested.
Okay,
in this category.
So this category here, I utterly bombed. I clanged. I got nothing right in this category. I probably let my own personal bias talk too much because, yeah, I just
Congratulations to
totally.
all three of these
Yeah, well,
winners.
congratulations to all of you legends. You've
Well
all
done.
painted awesome pieces and you've won some awesome models.
Moving on.
Awesome medals. I think that the one that I was sort of like least caught by was the gold, but in this photo, I will say I like it a whole lot more than the photo we were working off. So Dave was actually quite supportive of this and thought it was going to do well. So he credit where credit's due. He picked up our slack there and saw that one.
Mm.
Another, just a quick note, if we can, just a quick drive by on the second place in that entry. Another example of style, right? That's a
Yep.
completely different style,
Yep.
and it's been
That's
rewarded.
old
So
school airbrushing, paneling sort
it
of
is,
style.
and for me, personal Andy is not the biggest fan of it, but I think this is at the height of what it looks like.
Mm.
So
Mm. Not for me
yeah,
either. In fact, I'm going to just give that category a big thumbs down from Big Deno. So we'll move on to this.
sure.
So
So
there's
the uh
Andy Wardle just coming in hot with some
Yeah,
photos.
I didn't have too many strong feelings either way. I mean, I think Urka's piece Dave judged in earlier in the year at MPO, where I think it did pretty well. I think it did okay at America. Don't quote me on that. So it's great to see it do well here. I actually personally like third place the most in these,
Mm. I think
and I'm a big Same Han guy.
yeah, Andy's is my favourite, I think, and not just because I love Andy, but I just feel like the composition's strongest. The I just feel like three is the right number for this category. You know, you really get to have
Yeah,
that.
I'm very fond of the five. I'm very fond of the five model rack.
Mm,
Very traditional demon. However, you you gain some presentation, but you can sacrifice a lot of storytelling. So, it's sort of like what would it look like if you showed an elite level squad, in your collection, in
mm,
your army, and the orcs for me are really good.
mm,
Andy's one, obviously, it's Andy's. So,
yeah, it's great.
um,
No, that's good category. I'm not unhappy with that category. So, and this is we're at the top. So, Lucas Saba, I told you he's one of the jets in the world, mate. You didn't believe me.
uh, yeah. I was very strong about that doing very well, and this was the most one of the most contested conversations in our group. So
Was it?
I may have, all I'm saying is I may have definitely sent a suck at Trebek um, message as soon as the results came out because I thought this was pretty good. All three of these are great. Like they're all
Yeah, I was just
exceptional.
gonna say I love all three of these, and all three of them feel completely different. Like
Mm.
the this World Eater is just unreal. Like the painting on it is incredible and just very simple and elegant style. The composition on this little Kroot guy's stunning. Like that's a great base. And then Lucas's, the backdrop ties into the story in a really cool way. I love different shaped backdrops too. By the way, I feel like that's just a underutilized element for storytelling in general. But
Hmm.
all three of those, I feel like you could interchange all three of those for one, two, or three, and you wouldn't have too many arguments.
No, I don't. I don't think so at all. I think Kroot continually show well.
They do,
They
they
tend to
do.
be very very present at the comp. There is
Mm.
a lot of Kroot, so it's a
They just
dangerous choice
got
to
good
take it.
faces,
But
good shapes,
they're
don't
good
they?
shapes. Good. They're just really good storytelling too,
Mm.
right? They're all doing some kind of like nomadic sort of
Mm.
gaze off into the future, hunt my quarry type
Mm.
energies. So
1,000 yard stare.
yeah.
I
All
would
right.
be interested to sit in on the conversation between who wins the Slayer Sword in Albert or David, because that would have been a very fun conversation to listen to.
Yeah. I look. I mean, they're both just.
What?
I mean, I don't feel like if you were either of these guys, if you knew that you were both down to the final two, I don't think that you.
There's no complaints there. You're
Yeah.
not unhappy
Yeah.
about that result. You're like,
Yeah.
yup,
Yeah.
sweet
Yeah.
man. I believe in
Yeah.
you. I believe in Harvey Dent.
Yeah, and I think David tends to do a lot of big entries. He tends to do a lot in this category. I think last year he won a gold for his squigs.
Mm,
He did this Mangler squigs together.
right.
So yeah, I'm stoked for him and stoked for Albert. They were the two. Again, not being able to see, I didn't see this until it was announced.
Yeah.
There was no photos of it or anything anywhere. So.
Every
Or that we came across. So when we saw it, we were like, "Wait a minute, what?" And then we're like, when found out, and was like, "Okay, perfect, all good."
every now and then
Um,
I sort of, I wouldn't say I've dropped out of the painting scene for a bit, but every now and then, you just paint your own thing and you're living in your own
mhm,
world, and
mhm,
then a competition like this comes along and you realise just how happy you are to be involved in this scene. Like
mhm.
that is just a collection of incredible pieces of miniature art that make me happy to see the quality, the level of um,
Yeah,
skill that's
I
out there in the world. Like that just makes me happy.
I feel like there's kind of like a you know. We always have like things in Zenith in miniature painting. And firstly, miniature painting moves exceptionally fast, right? In
Mm.
in in what's going on and what's good and so on and so forth. So I feel like we had 10 years, and this might be a conversation for another time or even not on the stream, but I feel like we've had a really like a 10-year period where 75 millimeter and busts have been really dominant
Let's call it the Kirill era.
yeah. And I feel like we're kind of turning back to miniatures a little bit. Now that people might say, Andrew, that's just your own personal opinion or that's your own bias,
I
but
think I
I don't
think I'm
know.
with
I
you,
feel
mate.
like it's happening.
I think
Yeah.
I'm with you. Like I'm,
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't agree with you on a lot of things, mate. But I think I'm with
Mm-hmm.
you on that one.
Yeah, I just think it's miniatures are sort of where a lot of excitement is happening. And remember miniatures for a long time, like it was just miniatures, and then I feel like the next era that came after miniatures was the era of the 54
mm,
millimeter,
mm,
right?
mm.
Like 54 millimeter just dominated everything. Everyone was wanting to work in that scale. And then bus and 75s kind of really started to be manufactured at a rapid rate, so people were getting right on board. And then we just had, realistically, like we've had sort of at least the last like I
I
want to
feel.
say like 5 or 6 years, 7 years, like that have been dominated by those. So yeah, I think we're coming around the wheel, and miniatures are.
Don't you reckon it's
Yeah,
coincided with Golden Demon like really coming back into the fore a
yeah,
bit?
yeah, definitely,
Because there was
definitely.
a long period where it was just like, yeah, well, if you don't win Monty or SMC, you're not really it.
Mm.
And now it's all of
Mm-hmm.
a sudden like Golden Demon is the one that people are talking about and going, oh my god, this is where I
Yeah,
need to be at the pinnacle. Because the amount of painters that I saw putting stuff in for GD that are traditional miniature painters is crazy. So
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
um,
100%. So
a lot
yeah,
of
I mean, all right. So you're talking about Slayer Sword without having David Perryman's work to go off. We chose to have a really strong discussion about two pieces at completely different ends of the spectrum. We had Monstroys, and then we had Alberts,
yeah.
and we went 3-1 one way, but one vote was that I think I'm voting that I think this will win, but I think I would rather this win. You know.
Yeah.
And so when Monstroys came in silver, that sort of threw it into a bit of a tailspin. But mind you, again, we didn't have a great photo of Urkus like killer space wolf, hive tyrant piece.
So
So
so on the whole, um,
yeah,
it sounds like this was a really good experience for you guys, where you were just um, using it as a testing ground to try and um, get some feelers for what it's going to be like working together when you are doing the Crimson.
yeah, yeah. We just want to make sure that we um, do the best job that we can, and also put in a bit of work to do it. You know what I mean? So.
Are you
Uh,
are you looking forward to it?
uh, Judging is it's I'm looking forward to let's not jump too far ahead. I'm actually looking forward to us doing the Kingdom Death one
Yeah, that's gonna be great.
next. We had a lot of fun doing that one. Not last year, the year before. So I'm really looking forward to that because judging online comps is a little different. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that. And then Crimson is Crimson. You know, it's the only place in the world that we put judges on camera that I know of to
What do you think
to
about
go
that? I
about the
mean,
business.
we've talked about it a lot, right?
We have, right? I am probably of two minds because, well, it's a complex question.
It
And the
is a
reason
complex
it's
question.
complex is because the more that numbers increase, the harder it gets. Like the value slips, in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
you spend less time on the figures. Also, I'm not so sure that in that when things are being judged, you're also supposed to be getting your feedback at the same time. I think that that puts judges in an interesting position where they both have to judge something and also be mindful of how they present their thoughts, which has positives and negatives. Um, Now, the next complexity to this, or maybe some unsticking of complexity, is that what we're doing with Crimson Brass this year, with separating into two judging pools to judge standard and master, should alleviate that, right? Because there's 2 days worth of judging and happening at different times with different people, and so with not as many, technically, with not as many entries to judge specifically for each one pooled, then it might give more time back for or more time to each entry on screen. So we'll have to wait and see. I don't know that it's something we need to do forever. Feedback is a fascinating one, right? Like we have a unique situation in Australia where we are not quite big enough yet that we can afford to do things like give you feedback on the day. But at other events, that's not really the case, right? You don't really get feedback from judges. Um, Now, obviously, the plus side is that it helps develop our community, but at what cost, right? There's a lot of work for the judges to do is to both judge everything and then give everyone their own feedback on what the case is. So,
Yeah.
will we do it? Will we do it forever? I don't think we will. Will we do it this year? Yes. Will we do it next year? Probably. Will we do it the year after? Who knows?
Will you and
That would
I be
be.
there the year after or next
Who
year?
knows?
Who
Who
knows?
knows?
No, look, I've been thinking about it a lot the last couple of weeks, and there was probably a period in time last year where I was like, yep, I don't have the mental capacity to be doing this right now.
hmm
And so I was sort of borderline. Yep, this is my last year, and what invigorated me and made me feel really excited was actually the event itself, and being a part of it and seeing how much it meant to everyone.
Yeah, and if you can't take reward out of that, not you specifically, but if you can't take reward out of that, then um, it's probably not for you because that's it. That is the only reward, right? When you run these
It's
things,
definitely
that's it.
not the
There's
thanks,
nothing.
mate.
Yeah.
It's definitely not the thanks. I can tell you that. The thanks that I get is 59 messages. When are the photos going up, Deno?
Hmm.
That's a fun thing to get the next day.
Well, I think we in our group of organisers and supporters and volunteers, we do our best to keep each other motivated and we give out lots of bum pats to each other when we can see that they're important. But we also, have a show to run. So um,
I'm
yeah.
yeah, I'm motivated for this year, and I'm motivated to see what we can achieve this year.
hmm
And that's sort of where my head's at. But going back to the Golden Demon, it just gave me a little reminder. Fuck, we have such a cool hobby, and we should really just reflect on that more frequently and say,
Hmm.
fuck, it's cool what we do. And I'm sure that there are 95% of the people in the world would say that's not the case, that it's not cool, but I love it. I just think it's awesome.
How do you get in line for the bum pats, Craigzog? Well, uh, listen, you have to. work under a stress deno for 3 days, and you have to continually raise the standard of the event while turning in a better event each year. And at the end of that, if you do that, you get a brief moment at the end where the big fella says, "I love you all. You're all the best. You work so hard for so little, and I appreciate you." That's usually how it goes, isn't it, Dano?
That is usually how it goes, yes. Although this year I'm hoping that it'll be slightly different. I'm hoping that we'll be a little bit more happy Deno all the time, because we've got a more scheduled approach this year. So it's not
Yeah,
Deno just try, and it's my own fault. It's not anyone else's fault other than mine, because you're all doing your absolute best for free and giving up your
yeah,
time and your weekends to help, and that's a gift that I
yeah,
treasure and appreciate and value. But because for a long time it was just me and I was just flying it solo, and it was easy to do, uh,
yeah.
that's been
Well, yeah, the first one, the first one out of COVID was, yeah, was something else, wasn't it? That was. I'll always think really fondly of that year. I
it
think,
was a wonderful year.
because yeah, that was when we knew like we were either going to make or break, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, bring on Crimson. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I think even though you say will be more organized this year, the best laid plans don't survive the first.
indeed, indeed.
Don't survive first contact. And also, you were pretty planned last year as well. Like, you just have an exceptionally high standard for what we want to deliver, and I think that we continually, for the most part, deliver that. But please, never satisfied, my friend.
It's yeah. All the people that are most successful in the world are never happy with
Hmm.
their achievements and are always looking to be better. And I'm not saying I'm one of
Mhm.
the best people in the world at anything, but um, I certainly am passionate about doing the best I can. And when I'm responsible for something, when I have my name attached to something, I want to make sure that I'm delivering the best I can. And sometimes that brings out the Deno that not many people see, which is the one that people at my former workplace didn't like very much on occasion. But
Mm.
we live and we learn. We get better, and I'm looking forward to this year. I feel like we're going to have a great year, and more
What
importantly,
I'm Yeah, yeah. If you shoot, go.
no, more importantly, we've got some things in the works that are going to make it a much better experience for those people who do volunteer their time, which I'm very
Yes.
happy about.
Yeah. Yeah. I I also think this year, like, it's gonna be fun to see who goes hard for Crimson.
Mm.
Like, it's gonna be a really interesting year. Um, I'm very, very much looking forward to it.
I mean, Crimson's it's such a big deal for me, right? It used to be the only event, and now we've just got things popping up everywhere. So that's
Yeah.
great. It's really great. Like I'm not at all.
Well, I think your event now, like, Crimson is hats on event, and I think Arc is your hats off event. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? I
yeah,
think you love coming down for Arc, um and what that weekend represents. Guilds is a crazy one because Guilds has so much more than just the competition
yeah,
going on with like all the jam sessions and then the community stuff. So
yeah,
I mean, again, I think we covered this after Guilds, but I really think that we got to hang out for an hour.
yeah,
Like, a quality time together was like an hour, maybe two tops.
yeah.
Um,
That's
so
fine.
and that's important. Like, that's important for everyone, to get the things that they want to get out of events. So,
Mm, mm. We'll wrap up shortly. Before we do, I just wanted to share a wonderful little anecdote. I got to watch a movie with Mossy, which was actually something that she was okay with. She normally doesn't like my movies, but she was open to the idea of watching this one. It was a movie by the name of The Dark Knight with Heath Ledger and Christian Bale's
yes.
Batman, and I'd forgotten how good that movie is. It's actually fucking incredible. So
Be careful saying Batman with Timbo in the chat, man. His ears will prick up and a few other things. He is a Batman beast. He loves it.
just go and do yourself a favour and go and rewatch The Dark Knight. it's a wonderful thing, wonderful experience.
Yeah, it's a great film. Actually, speaking of films, and I briefly caught your Arnold Schwarzenegger chat. People not putting End of Days in the top three, top four Arnold films of all time. Come on, the greatest quotes, one of Arnold's, if not Arnold's greatest quote of all time. You know, you're a fucking quiet boy compared to me. You know, that's
Quiet boy.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. All right. Well,
there he is. Timbo's fired up. Yeah, Batman.
Let's wrap up, Bucks. Lovely to chat. We'll be catching up very soon, no doubt, for a little Crimson chat. But yeah, nice to see you, mate. Hope
Yeah, absolutely. And then we've only got 2 weeks realistically between now and the Kingdom Death judging, which we're doing on Sunday. Are we allowed to call that date? Is that settled? Yeah. Sunday the 20th, 10:30 start my time, 9:30 start for you. I believe we've got 68 entries to go through. At various skills. Well, we've got the photos have all come through, although I don't know about you, like we'll discuss this maybe off, but I've elected not to look so far.
Zero looking for me. Zero looking.
Yeah, cool. Excellent.
I didn't look last time either. Actually, I might have
neither.
2 minutes, I think, but...
Did you have to do some... No, the crew compiled everything, didn't they? They're so diligent, the Kingdom Death crew. I love it. They're very well organised and incredibly friendly people, so... They make me feel very welcome for a guy who's only painted, 3 or 4 Kingdom Death ones. So
that just makes you like most people that play Kingdom Death, mate. So.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
All right.
I guess signing off. Hey, good luck to everyone. We're now in Crimson Brush season. We've got sort of 3.5, 4 months before the event. So this is about when people start to really, really get going. So good luck to everyone who is considering entering, and I very much look forward to seeing everyone's growth and how they put forward their work. And all the best for everyone who's going to come along. Looking forward to it.
Thank you all. Have a great night. Big Dano out.